The increasing spate of protest rocking some parts of the country over the rising prices of foodstuff and general cost of living in Nigeria has seemingly raised the middle class and plunged most Nigerians into hunger. Many Nigerians have been plunged into a financial crisis and increase in their cost of living by the continuous rise in inflationary pressures being currently experienced in Nigeria.
According to the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, Nigeria's annual inflation rate rose to 29.90% in January from 28.92% in December 2023, compared to 26.98% when the president declared a state of emergency on food security. Some protesters who converged on Mokola, Ibadan, Oyo State, carrying placards with various inscriptions and songs of agitation, appeal to all concerned Nigerians to join the solidarity movement, as the people cannot continue to endure what they describe as unbearable pain.
Police Public Relations Officers, Oyo State Command SP Adewale Osifeso, who accompanied the protesters, says the police is focused on guaranteeing safety both for the protesters and other Nigerians, and to ensure other people with ulterior motives will not hijack the protest. Let's further the conversation.
We just need their intervention. We do not want to fight with them. We are not here to cause any problem. We are just here to tell the government our problems, that they should just look into this for us. That they should please look into the problem of the masses. Help us. Have mercy on us. People are hungry. People are dying daily of hunger. Insecurity is killing people. We just need them to help us. They should just help us. They should just look into our case and be of help to Nigerians. That's just all we need.
Nigerians have the right to hear their opinions. And we cannot say because we are here today, we must not allow every other Nigerians to exercise their constitutional duty. Section 34, 39 and 40 empowers every Nigerian to organize a peaceful assembly and to speak about the economic hardship. On this note, this is not today's own.
Our people have the right to freedom of assembly as it is. But our duty is to ensure that it is not hijacked by unscrupulous elements. And, if caution is not taken, which is why we are here, to ensure that we provide the intelligence and, of course, the physical support.
Such heartbreaking pictures to see there. Let's further the conversation with development economist and investment banker, Dr. Nnamdi Obi. Good morning, Mr. Obi. Thank you for joining us. Such unfortunate conversation to be having. And it seems like we've been having a repeat of the same kind of conversations in the past 1 year. A year ago, we probably didn't think things could get any worse, but it's gotten worse. What are your thoughts on, this protests that we're seeing? Do you think that this will yield any tangible change from the government?
Olive, regrettably, have not seen any signs, either by way of body language or actions, by the governments of the day, from Abuja to the 36 states and the 774 local government areas, to tackle the root cause of the problem that we're having today. Nigeria as a country has no business having people under poverty, having people line the street to protest because of hunger and the institutions. A country that has 64 million hectares of arable landmass, some of the best water tributaries, the best sunshine and rainfall ratios around the world. Basically, what we have seen and what is happening is as a result of total breakdown in leadership. A month ago, I did one in one of my sessions, either on your studio or our right TV, that if we do not tackle the root cause of this problem, the naira will hit 2,000. And I can put a bet with anybody who cares to listen that within the next 1 month, it will go beyond that mark. What are the foundational issues? Insecurity. Insecurity is at the root cause of the food scarcity that we are having in Nigeria today, because farmers, both peasant and commercial farmers, cannot go to farm. I'll give you an example. I have an aged mother who annually does about 4 hectares of cassava farm. My late father left a cashew plantation for her. I even bought some for her, about 3 hectares in my village. And this has been a source of job creation for the youth that help her to take care of those plantations and the farm. As I'm talking to you, over the last 2 years, we were even forced to extract my mother from the village when they threatened to kidnap her. We had intelligence, and we had to ferry her out and bring her to Lagos. For the past 1 year, those plantations have been lying waste. The farmland have been lying waste. People have been stealing the cashew nuts, which is the seasoner. The same thing applicable to every part of Nigeria. I know of a commercial farmer in Oyo State who was kidnapped 3 times, and he has vowed never to go back to the farm. It is not about just the federal government. The state governors have a lot of blame on this. We are in the farming season. What actions are they taking? At the risk, like I said, I was privileged in 2016 to set up with some group of professionals one of the biggest agro-processing firms in Abia State and Imo State, Southeast Farms. We acquired 850 hectares of land with CFO. We went in with massive investment. We lost 325 million in less than 3 years to insecurity. Bandits attack, local bandits, not foreign bandits. But we cannot run away. As I'm talking to you, we have gone back because we cannot allow our people to suffer since the governments are doing nothing. We are now spending our own money to mobilize the communities to provide a kind of local security for us to go back to the farm to see what we can develop to help our people. This is no skyrocket science. The basic food we eat in Nigeria is rice, gari, and all the other staple foods. To cultivate, process enough rice to feed Nigerians and export will take us less than 1 year. Rice is something you can plant twice in a year and harvest. 1 million new hectares of rice planted and secured, because for the farmers to go and plant rice, there must be security. Consumption of rice in Nigeria is about 7.5 million tons. To cultivate and process 10 to 15 million tons of rice, all we need is 1 million hectares of the Geri species and 1,750 cottage processing factories, 16 tons per day. And those factories can actually be produced here. Only the motors.
Yeah, Mr. Barry. Yeah, apologies for jumping in, just because we need to also manage the time. That would be for a government that really wants to invest in agriculture. On a federal level, on a state level, maybe even on a local government level. It's not rocket science. You and I know, and everybody I think knows, that we have too much farmland, we have too much space, we have too much of these resources if we truly want to invest in agriculture. And it's not just rice, many other things. But I want you to speak now to those who are thinking of joining the protest, those who are maybe in support of government and saying, oh, these people are getting impatient. So what will be your answer to the question, what can the government do right now that will ease the pain of the people? If they truly said that, oh, they've realized that there's going to be protests and the country is going to go into chaos in the next 2-3 months, maybe 6 months, if they don't fix something, what can they do right now that will reduce the suffering of the people economically?
Our nearest neighbor, because if I ask, okay, let us import food, the logistics, the time it will take, if we're importing from Asia, if we're importing from Europe or other places, which is very unfortunate, it will take time. Our nearest neighbor, who are also agrarian in nature, who produce food that we can look up to, okay, can we import from them? Is Niger Republic, is Burkina Faso, is Mali. What is the situation of the relationship between Nigeria and Mali and Burkina Faso and Niger? Relationship totally broken down. Borders closed. So Osagi, from where will the food be imported into Nigeria? That is the question. Because as of today, I even laugh whenever I see the NNPS statistics that inflation is at 29.9%. It's very laughable. Month-on-month inflation rate in Nigeria is above 100% across all levels, from transportation to food commodities. Cement, as of January, was 5,000 naira per 50 kg. Today, cement is about 15,000, and somebody is telling me 29%. It does not make sense. Now, the only way is for us to import food and flood into Nigeria while we take urgent steps to get people back to their farm this farming season and tackle the insecurity headlong by empowering and arming the communities to protect themselves. But where will the food be imported from when our nearest neighbors, who are agrarian by culture and nature, from where we can import the temporary relief, we have no relationship with them and the borders are closed? It's a question that those in power should answer. And like I said, see, we are just at point A. We are just in the genesis of the matter. We have not even entered Malachi, and Nigerians are screaming. I have said it. There is no rocket. See, you cannot. This is not prophecy. We saw this happening last year when these things were building up over time. And it seems as if those in power are confused at all levels. Like I said, they must take time to begin to write. Even the governors. I am so shocked. For a governor to protect, to set up a vigilante, not even need state police. Organize the communities. Organize your local government. Every community to provide 20 or 30 of their honest use. Train them. Apply to the National Security Advisor for them to be properly armed, not with Shakabula, with AK-47, to be able to match both the local and foreign bandits that have invaded Nigeria. It is their right by law. The NSA can approve it for you guys. If they refuse to approve for you to protect your people and allow them to go to farm, since the national security architecture has over time proven to have failed, then you can make any noise, organize world press conferences, invite the event, let the whole world know what is happening here. Nigeria has no business housing 133 million multidimensional poor people. Nigeria, as I'm talking to you today, anybody in Nigeria, any less than 120,000 naira a month is a poor Nigerian. 120,000 naira cannot, based on the cost of living, cannot even feed a family of 4. Talk less of a family of 6 or 8. And
right.
That is the ugly situation that we have found ourselves today in Nigeria. And we can write it if those in power, on a private level, I've told you what we are doing. We have mobilized millions in a community where we have our agro assets to see how we can provide temporary security to enable the communities, our farmers, our workers, go back to farm, because we envisage if we do not tackle this thing now, by November, 99% of Nigerians will go under massive extreme poverty.
I mean, the numbers, you quoted 133 multidimensionally poor. That was a while ago. I'm sure that the numbers are completely, more than that right now. And like we've rightly said, it seems like there really isn't any middle class at this point, because the situation keeps getting dire by the day. We can only hope for the best and hope that the government is actually listening to the cries of the people and the suggestions as well that have been made. Dr. Obiari, I think our final thoughts on this conversation would be, for the average Nigerian, how can we better weather the storm at this point?
The only way they can weather the storm now is to practically reduce their food consumption, maybe do 1001 or 001. Because I don't know how to advise any poor Nigerian now. Inflation has eroded. What are we even talking about? Check NDIC statistics. Out of the over 128 million accounts in deposit money banks, only about 0.4% has about 500,000. That was in 2021. Today, I can bet you there are not up to 500,000 Nigerians today, in real terms, legitimately, that can boast such amount of deposit in their accounts. Things are more there than most of us are envisaging. We will have to keep on. See, we will need to learn how to cut costs. Which costs are you even cutting? Because these costs are basic costs. There's what we call the physiological need of man: shelter, food, and clothing. Nigerians are not asking for luxury things. So, as I'm talking to Olive, I am even I don't even know the kind of advice I will give to the already suffering masses. The only thing I say is, okay, for the children, which almost make about 70% of Nigeria, age 14 and to 0, what will you advise them? A child must eat at least 3 times in a day.
Yeah. Are
you going to tell a child of 5 years to eat 011 or 001 or 100? An adult can manage that. Our population about 70%, 14 to 0 age. And because we have irresponsible leadership, And then a followership, I'm sorry to say, that living by what I call ethno-religious awareness that allow them not to have a united mind in pursuit of their common enemies, the less than 1% of Nigerian population in public office, both the political office holders and their cronies in the civil servant that have over the last 10 years messed up the whole entire landscape.
Yeah. Mr. Berry, I mean, now we're talking increased petrol price. We're also talking about, of course, you're on an exchange rate that doesn't seem to be relenting. It's at 1,700 at this point, likely to hit 2,000, likely to even continue to climb higher. If the government didn't make the moves that it made, if when they came in, the president didn't blurt out subsidy is gone on May 29th, if their very first moves were not to float the naira and, of course, uniting the exchange rates, will we maybe have been in a better place today? Or were those things inevitable that they needed to do to save Nigeria, like they've said?
Osage, it was not the step that led to where we are today. In fact, that step was inevitable because as at that time when they took over power, we had unpaid obligation of $7 billion. $2.4 billion already proven to be Ponzi, and $5 billion legitimate that the CBN could not deliver because there was dollar illiquidity. The reserve was practically zeroed out. The central bank was even owing the commercial banks $10 billion, a swap that they took and which they've not been able to repay. So practically we were at a zero end. And the crude oil production was less than 1 million barrels a day. Under the Buhari regime, they practically balkanized everything. And we were owing over $43 billion, $32 billion under Buhari over the last 8 years. Now, would they have been done it better? Yes. Let me tell you, the removal of subsidy was not the issue. As I'm talking to you, a liter of the PMS, FOB, based on even international price, is 67 cents. If the dollar to the naira had been at 199 when Jonathan was in government, even with deregulation, 100%, the PMS would have been selling at 138 naira per 1 liter. Basically, what we see here is the erosion of the naira because of the criminality that is not yet abated. It is still happening. We told them what to do. Nigeria owns NNPC 100%, which is valued at 64 billion.
NNPC is another conversation. NNPC is another conversation, Mr. Nnaemeka.
Nigeria will get 32 billion immediately.
NNPC is certainly another conversation that needs to be had. They have a number of questions to answer, questions that have been asked over the years. But we certainly have enjoyed talking to you as we always do. Thank you for honoring us with your presence. We certainly want the best for our country, and we hope that we can have brighter conversations in the nearest future regarding Nigeria's economy. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Obiariri.
Thank you very much.
Have a productive week. Thanks for stopping by. And this is where we, of course, will be wrapping up conversations this morning. It's been a very interesting hour, interesting, Tuesday morning. A rainy one here in Lagos. I'm not sure if the weather is the same thing in other parts of the country. But of course, we encourage Nigerians to continue to do what must be done to stay afloat as we try to find a pathway to a better country.
Thank you for joining us on today's broadcast. We'll be back again same time tomorrow. Stay safe. We hope that we have some brighter stories to share. And remember, you can continue the conversation on social media at News Central TV on all platforms and on YouTube, where we post our conversations. Until we see you again, I am Olive Emodi.
And I am Osalgi Ogbonwa. See you tomorrow.